What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode here of Bass and Furious TV. I want to thank you all for tuning into the channel. Thank you all for subscribing to the channel. I certainly appreciate the support, and I'm looking forward to bringing you guys even more videos. But today's video, wanted to kind of do a topic here that always comes up when it comes to these tournaments. Season's about to kick off here relatively soon for a lot of us. Some of it's already actually started, and when I say season, I mean like a tournament season. So order here and see if we can put some fish in the boat. So with that being said, with the topic for today's video, as I've always done for my videos, I did it last year too. I did like 2 30-minute videos on Coangler tips. Like, I gave you guys everything I had as far as tips go that I had at that time. And then the very first tournament of the year for the meet, after I made those videos and tips, I ended up winning that tournament from the back of the boat. So it's pretty phenomenal. And then later on in the year, I ended up taking a top 5 in a 2-day tournament. So that for me was huge. Putting 2 back-to-back days together. I even improved my position on day 2, so that was phenomenal. Very excited about that. But I'm back again. Here we are, 2022. I'm going to give you guys more tips from what I got when it comes to fishing. And this probably was relevant in, 1997. And it's going to be relevant in 2042. It's really not going to change that much. It's pretty much things that they have set up, unless they change like the formats of tournaments. So with this one today, I want to talk to you guys about tackle prep. So that's always a big topic that you talk about when it comes to tackle prep. And in specific for today's video, just to kind of pinpoint it to a certain specific general field, is whether to prep your tackle before you talk to, and this is from a co-angler's perspective, guys, so make sure I'm clear on that, co-angler's perspective, whether to prep your tackle before you talk to your boater that you're going to be, because co-angler meaning you're going to be in the back of someone's boat, you're fishing with possibly a complete stranger, have no idea who this guy is in the world. You find out who he is the night before the tournament, typically. That's when you do the BFLs and Bass Opens. You find out the night before, typically, who your boater is. So my topic for today is, if you find out, do I need to be prepared for the body of water, have done my research, have everything ready to go for when I talk to my boater, or do I need to concentrate my efforts for after I talk to my boater? That's kind of where I want to get this video at. And also too, if you guys have comments and tips, as always, get in the comments. I'm gonna keep the comments on so you guys can get in the comments and let me know what you think about the topic and some things that have worked for you in the past. For my take on it, my 2 cents is, I feel like your tackle prep from a co-angler side point, your tackle prep, your map study, your video watching, all the research that you do that goes into being successful in a body of water, it's clearly going to all start before you talk to your boater, right? You don't want to just talk to him that night of and then all of a sudden start watching a bunch of YouTube videos and hop on Google Earth that night and hope for the best, basically. Your tackle prep, your organization, your getting your colors matched up, putting your baits in certain areas, like certain areas of your house, certain areas of your tackle bag, getting your clothes ready based on the type of weather. Make sure that you buy that big jacket that you need if you don't have it. If you're going to somewhere and it's really cold, make sure you got your big gloves. All these things should happen before you talk to your boater. Now, my tip, and kind of where I'm going with this, is that you need to have a system where all your stuff is ready to go and situated, but I don't recommend filling up your bag until you talk to your boater, because basically what's going to happen is, if you have everything in your bag, you've done all your research, you're ready to go, you know that in March, based on previous tournament results and videos that you've watched and stuff that you've done, you know that these fish are going to be up shallow feeding. Some of them are going to be kind of in between, deciding whether they want to move up and spawn based on the weather. Some of them are going to be out deep. You've done all your research, but you know typically that they're going to be up shallow on the bank, and you know you're going to throw a chatterbait and a spinnerbait, and you're going to bring a shaky head. So you know that, right? So you talk to your boater, and matter of fact, I'm sorry, go in order. You get your bag all packed up. You talk to you, and then you got your bag packed up full of all your crankbaits, your chatterbaits, your spinnerbaits, your shaky heads, all that kind of stuff. And you talk to your boater, and I'm going to come back to this other point, but you talk to the boater, and he says, hey, dude, look, I've been catching them in 45 feet of water, dragging a Carolina rig. And you got your whole bag filled up with chatterbaits, crankbaits. You put your Carolina rigs and deep cranks away because you were like, I got this. I'm ready to go. I've been practicing with my buddy. We've been out there for 3 weeks. I've been putting in my work. I know what's going on. And then you get out there and you get a boater that's dragging in 30, 35 feet and ain't going near the bank. He's doing nothing but live scope. He's scoping them out where he sees them, following them around, and he's dragging and dropping on them. Like, Now you talk to him, you got to go in your tackle bag. If you haven't got all this stuff organized, like I mentioned before, where you get everything organized, your colors, your baits, everything by depths, by all that. Your 3/8 are matched up with 3/8, your halves are matched up with halves, your flipping weights, your punching, all that stuff is organized. If he tells you it's time to switch, bam, if you know what you need to do, you know, all right, so he's saying we're going deep. All right, I got my Carolina rig, it's in this box, I got my lizards over here, I got my crawls over here, bam, throw that in. Obviously bring the stuff that you're comfortable with, so still bring a few of your chatterbaits, a few of your crankbaits, because he may change his plan, and then he may want to go shallow because the deep bite's not working for him. His fish moved, but he's going to adapt. He's a good angler, he's going to move. You want to make sure that you're ready to move and that you don't take out all your chatterbaits because you're pissed off because the guy said that he's going to go deep. Just make sure that you're still prepared. So the bigger key point in all of this being is that as a co-angler, you just got to be prepared for anything. Whatever you practice, whatever you saw, whatever your Google Earth map study did, whatever your YouTube videos you saw, whatever that was, you got to be ready to throw all that junk in the trash and go fishing. That's my biggest tip that I give to everybody that I talk to in these tournaments. Go fishing. For example, when I fished the Potomac, I know I could throw a chatterbait on the Potomac, but I know I had been throwing a chatterbait on the Potomac and I wasn't getting bit. I wasn't getting bit. It was like weeks where I wasn't getting bit. And I refused to put the chatterbait down because I'm like, for one, it's a 4-hour tournament. Not a BFL. If I'm doing a Wednesday nighter, I'm just going to throw what I want to throw. I pay $50. I'm going to do whatever I want. I'm just going to go. I mean, if I catch a big bag and sack them up, cool. If not, I was going to pay $20 to launch anyway. Now I pay $30. If I run into them doing what I love to do, then it is what it is. But I try to go for my best for that. But I know if what I'm doing is working, until I get it through my head that it's just completely dead. Because I would, every once, what messed me up is I would occasionally pick off one on a chatterbait and I'd be like, okay, I still can. Then I grab my Wacky Rig Cinco and I pick off one. Like, okay, I still can. But that wasn't the bite where I was at. That just wasn't the bite. It was the bite. It was a bite at some time. That's a bite out there. Sometimes that works good, but other times that's not it. That's not it. Put that away. Put all that away. I had to change my bite. And the only way I did is halfway decent in the regional and the super tournament over 2 days is because I adapted. Everything I just mentioned that I throw, that I catch fish on, I told you guys, I didn't catch anything on that stuff when the actual tournament came. Nothing. It was summertime, late summer. Nothing. None of that stuff was working. Anything I said before I was throwing wasn't working. I had to key in on a whole nother bite. I figured it out a couple weeks prior to the tournament, and I tried to transition it over to where I was at. I didn't quite have the exact color yet, but I was transitioning to where the fish were at, and then I made a couple of adjustments. But when I got in the boat with different people, different things were working. So I just had to adapt. Whatever I had in my bag, I had to try to make it work with whatever I had, whatever I saw in front of me. I just go fishing. Just fish that moment, every moment. I'm talking like, when I say moments, I mean like every 30 seconds, every 15 seconds, 2 seconds. If you look and you see the sky changes colors while you're standing there casting, you might got to make an adjustment. The boat positions a different way, you got to make an adjustment. I'm talking like seconds on the fly, be ready to throw something different. So that's why I say, as a co-angler, no matter what the conversation is with your boater, you just want to make sure that you're prepared for anything. But I don't recommend filling up your whole bag. You want to be packed up to a certain extent, but you want to know that you know where to find the stuff at. Focus more on knowing where your stuff is, organizational wise, and working on your techniques. That way when you have that conversation, it's not like, oh my God, oh no, what am I gonna do? I don't know, where's my deep cranks? Where's my lizards? I don't know. Like, you don't want to have that conversation. You don't want to do that. You just want to, he tells you we're going to do X, bam, do it. Now, here's another point that I kind of hinted at a little bit earlier. I was like, I'm going to get to it. The other thing you got to remember when you're a co-angler talking to a boater, you have to understand that boater does not know you. He doesn't know you at all. He knows nothing about you. He doesn't know if you're the local neighborhood stick. He might know about you. He might have heard about you. Don't get me wrong. But he doesn't know what you know and your tendencies. Because some anglers are, for lack of a better term, they're blabbermouths. If you talk to them, they'll tell you everything that every person they ever fish with caught a fish on. They'll share their boater spots. They just don't care. They just fish and they blah, blah, blah. It just doesn't matter to them. Other guys are really tight-lipped and won't tell you nothing. They'll barely tell you their first name. You won't know nothing about them, because that way when they sneak up on your spot, that you ain't gonna know their name to tell what they're doing or to yell at them. They're not gonna tell you nothing, okay? They ain't gonna tell you nothing. They just gonna fish. They're gonna take your money or not take your money, and they ain't gonna say nothing. Then there's a bunch of us that are in between that round. So why I'm saying that is, as a boater and a co-angler, when you have that conversation with your boater, he may or may not give you all the actual information. He may tell you that we're going 25 feet deep on a Carolina rig, push mute, and crack up laughing with his friends. I mean, rolled on the floor laughing, because he knows that he just made you switch up all your stuff based on something that came out of his mouth that ain't make no sense. And he is dying laughing. And then when he comes back to the phone and you're like, Carolina rig? And he's like, yeah, Carolina rig, 25 feet, man, running that live scope, man. I've been scanning him. I know what's going on. And you're like, so he said live scope. He said he's been scanning. So you're like, oh, okay. I guess I'll be ready for Carolina rig. First thing he does is pull up to a bank and start throwing a buzzbait. And you're like, first thing you got tied on is a Carolina rig, feeling like an idiot. So what I'm saying, I said that to say, I'm not saying boaters are going to lie. I'm not trying to say that. What I'm saying is they fully expect to do everything they can to win, and they're not going to tell some Joe Schmo out here all their juice, so that you can go tell all your buddies who are boaters all their juice, and then everybody they see is start throwing a buzzbait down the bank because this guy told you he was catching them on a buzzbait, man. Because if he gets, think about it, if he gets on the phone with you and says, man, I've been catching 5-pounders in the buzzbait, throwing that black buzzbait down the bank, you trying to tell me that some of these anglers out here ain't going to immediately call their friends that are fishing with them and be like, dude, tie on the black buzzbait, tie on your black buzzbait, dude's been catching 5-pounders, and try to get everybody to win? We're friends, man. We all want to see each other succeed. So that's not unrealistic. So just understanding that the boater may not give you everything. He may be tight-lipped. He may say, you know, hey, we're just going to mix it up, man. We're going to be trying to do whatever the fish want us to do. He may give you some generic answer like that. So when he says that, throw what you need to throw when you see what gets in front of your face. Bring your comfort baits, bring your confidence baits, and throw what you need to throw. That's it. Put the stuff in your bag that you think you can catch fish on based on all your research. Get to the body of water and do what you need to do. Make sure you have something in that bag that can cover all the depths down to 50 feet up to less than 6 inches. And if you do that, you can't go wrong. It really doesn't matter what the conversation is you have with that guy is. You're going to have something in your bag that can get you there. Think about it. If you need to throw a drop shot, you throw a drop shot. If he's dragging a Carolina rig, I'm just Texas rig my drop shot. I'm going to throw it down there. I know he's dragging on the bottom. I'll let my bait sit till it gets to the bottom. I mean, it is what it is. But I also can pick that same drop shot up and I can throw it in 6 inches of water on the bank. I just change my leader in and I'm fine. Like, have baits in your bag that can go multiple depths very quickly, easy to change, easy to adapt. The quick clips, things like that, all these things. You got to make sure that you have this stuff, that you're ready to go. And like I said, you can adapt. Might I recommend that you go check out Angler's Bait and Tackle if you live around this area. You can get all of this stuff at Angler's Bait and Tackle. You will have everything that you need. Like I mentioned in my last video, or whatever video it is, they have the juice. So if you live around here, check out Angler's Bait and Tackle, Shooter's Archery. Get in there, grab the stuff that you need. They got stuff for every depth. They got every Chapo down to, you know, 3/4 ounce jig. They got everything in there that you need, man. So go to Angler's Bait and Tackle, grab that stuff, make sure that you're prepared. But like I said, I did this video, just wanted to kind of share with you guys what's the importance of whether I should pack up before, pack up after I talk. My suggestion, be packed up regardless. Just be packed up, know where your stuff is, and then when you have that conversation, all you got to do is grab from an already organized section or area. Bam, bam, bam. Grab this box, this box, this box. This box is my go-to. Bam, throw that in. Grab the soft plastic colors that you need for that area. Because no matter what his conversation is, that shouldn't change your soft plastic colors. You were going to throw Junebug, you were going to throw green pumpkin regardless of what came out of his mouth, right? Because you've done your research, you know those colors work. Soft plastic colors shouldn't change. The only thing you may need to change though is like your weight size, and if you were bringing 1 to 3 foot crankbaits, you might want to bring 7 to 9, you know, or 15 to 20. You might want to just switch up your depths on stuff depending on what comes out of that conversation. But that's pretty much all I had. I hope you guys enjoy. I'm gonna try to do more and more of these as I come up with topics and think of things that I know sometimes we struggle with as co-anglers. So I wanted to kind of get that out there. Hope you guys enjoy. Share the video with your friends. As always, you guys are awesome. I appreciate it. Be sure to check out Angler's Bait and Tackle. Peace, peace. I'll catch you guys on the next one.